Hey everybody, what's going on? It is James here with Crypto Common Sense. I wanted to sit down and shoot a video for everybody because Bitcoin is obviously up about 60% over the last couple of weeks, which of course is very much expected. If you've been watching the videos on the channel, you know that I started calling for that move over 2 months ago. So no surprise there, but I want to talk about the emotional aspect and what's going on in the market now. And also, more importantly, I want to talk about how to build free positions in cryptocurrency and really any market, but we're going to focus on crypto today. Before I jump into the content, of course, please remember I am just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom. Nothing in the video is financial advice. You should always go out and do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice from a licensed financial advisor before making any type of investment in cryptocurrency. Also, do not forget to check the description. There are links down there where you can join Patreon for just $7 a month. That will give you access to more frequent updates. You can also join the Pancake Profits course, which is the course where a partner, a former student of mine turned all-star trader, and myself teach people how to trade DeFi tokens. So let's jump into this. First thing I want to talk about is the fact that markets do not move in straight lines, okay? And what's happening on Bitcoin right now is a perfect example of how you can build free positions. So about 2.5 months ago, it was May 21st when I first made the post on Twitter, I believe. Let's check. So back on May 21st is when I first hypothesized that this might be what we're going to see a bounce up toward. At that time, I believe I was calling for around 50 to 54K, right? Thought it would bounce up to that area and then we would get the move down. And of course, I was comparing that to the market psychology chart. Now, everything else aside, here's where this market gets stuff so wrong. A lot of people will troll a post like this and they'll get mad at me for being quote unquote bearish, but they're missing the gold in the post. If you're a bull and you see this post right here, why would you be upset? I'm literally saying that I'm expecting this thing to bounce over 50%, right? This is how you build free positions. Because when you see something like this, not my chart, but when you see something like this in the charts itself, it gives you an opportunity to go long on an asset and to basically hedge your bets. Let me explain. Let's say that you're watching this chart, and let's say you're watching my videos and you knew from the past that when RSI on this 3-day chart got down to the bottom of this box, it typically presents a good buying opportunity. Not guaranteed, nothing is, but it's typically a good place to start looking for long positions. We saw it back here in this market, and we saw it back here in this market. So let's say that you're bearish like me, and you think Bitcoin is going to go lower, that it's in an extended bear market, etc., etc. What you can do to hedge your bet is you can simply start buying around these key support levels. If it loses support, for example, let's say you bought over here in this retest, right? I'm not going to go into trade setups in this video, but let's just say that you were investing and you said, you know what, I'm going to buy some Bitcoin here, and if it drops and takes out this previous level back here, I'll get stopped out. Maybe you got a 5% stop loss, whatever. What you can do, okay, you can get in that position, and then when it starts to move up like this, if you're still bearish, but you're not completely sold, maybe you think there's still a chance this could be a new bull run, fine, watch this. Let's say you got in here, let's say your stop was back there, so not even 4%. Let's say that you're still holding up here, you're up 54%. All right, let's just call it 50% for easy math. So if you put $10,000 in a Bitcoin back there, right, your Bitcoin is now worth $15,000. So how do you get a free position? Sell $10,000 worth. Now you've got $5,000 worth of Bitcoin free. It doesn't matter what happens. If it keeps going up, wonderful. Your $5,000 worth of Bitcoin is going to gain in value. You're going to be super happy. If it completely dumps, let's say that Bitcoin died, which is highly unlikely, but let's say it died and went to zero. Oh well, you still got your money back. It was a $5,000 house money anyway. No harm, no foul. Or more likely, let's say that if it was a bear market, I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying if it's a bear market, more than likely if it goes down, let's say it goes down to 10K even, eventually there's a good opportunity that it's going to go back up, right? Again, we don't know, but historically speaking, most markets tend to continue going up unless they totally die. So that's how you can get a free position. And that's one of the key things is, you know, don't get caught up on this nonsense about this. Is it a bull market? Is it a bear market? The only reason that stuff matters is because it matters when you take profits And it matters in terms of, are you trying to scalp a position? Are you trying to swing trade a position? Or are you trying to invest in something? If I thought this was a bull market and I loaded up down here, then I'd want to hold everything as long as I could. If I think it's a bear market and I load up down here, I might sell my entire position up here, right? Which would be one way to play it. Or if I'm not sure when it gets up here, if it starts looking like maybe it's not a bear market, maybe it's going to go higher, then I can take out my initial investment and just keep the free part and ride it, right? And that's how I built up my portfolio. It's a very, very conservative way to play it. It doesn't, expose yourself to a ton of risk. And if you're, if you get lucky and it continues going up, then you make out like a bandit, which is what happened with me on a lot of tokens and a lot of coins in late 2017, early in my trading career. I got super lucky, right? It happened to be holding some coins that did real well. That's what I wanted to say is, like, don't get stuck on this, oh, well, it's a bear market, I can't long Bitcoin. Why not? Why not? And first off, there's going to be people who come out and say, well, this isn't a bear market anyway. Well, yes, it is. Okay, that's not up for debate. Like, I've said this in past videos. Guys, it is a bear market. Do I think this has a chance to go higher and take out this all-time high? Sure, it's got a chance, right? And there's actually some interesting things happening in the charts that wouldn't even make me say it's unlikely. I'd say it's almost a coin flip at this point. But it's still a bear market, right? Bear markets marked by negative sentiment, which we've seen, right? Marked by more than 20% decreases, which we've seen, et cetera, et cetera. We have a lot of consolidation down here, and this was very interesting, and this is very different from past bear markets, which is why I think it's a little bit dangerous to get overly bearish here. I would never sell off my entire portfolio, for example. But yeah, I mean, it's still a bear market until it takes out some key levels. So let's talk about those levels real fast. First off, one of the things that makes me a little bit skeptical of this, as far as, not wanting to get overly bearish, it did pop out of the bear market box on the 3-day. That's not, what you would expect in a hardcore bear market. Like, look at 2018. You didn't see that, right? In 2019, we didn't see it either. We saw it in early 2020 before the COVID collapse. So that's given me reason to pause a little bit. I don't want to be getting overly bearish. Also, if you look at the analytics, there haven't been a bunch of short squeezes on this move up. There was a big one back on like July 26th, but most of this move has been pretty sustained buying according to the analytics, which means that this is more of a legit move than just a short squeeze, right? We haven't really seen a short squeeze on these last several candles. So I'm still wondering if we get a move up toward like 50K to maybe wash out some bears, even if it is a bear market. So that's something I want to watch for. If we look at a weekly chart, see these lines? You guys have seen these, right? These have been on my videos for a few months. The white line, the 45K level, the green line, the 49K level, right? Same zone, 45 to 49K, 45 to 49K. So we are in there. So that's bearish in nature because it's literally what I was looking for when I wanted to talk about taking short positions, right? Not just a short scalp, but an actual bearish short position. But this down here gave me a reason for concern because it popped out of this bear market box in the weekly as well and closed not 1 but 2 weeks outside of that box. So I think this is a big warning sign to bears. Be careful here. Don't get overly bearish. Don't get tunnel vision, okay? And I'll explain something in just a few minutes how this compares to past bear markets. So those are some things to watch on the daily chart. We put in double bearish divergence, and of course we're seeing a reaction from that, right? Dump back down from around 48 down to around 46K or almost 45K here, but we're still inside this same zone. So I think it's a little bit early again to get super bearish here, because really what it's doing is it's come down and it's just had this little retest of this 200-day moving average. So these are all reasons that say, as a bear, I've got to pump my brakes and I'm really sitting more in neutral territory right now. Okay, the move up itself, that doesn't faze me. That's completely expected. Obviously, I've been posting about that for 3 months. But it's the structure that's forming that says maybe this is not going to continue down lower. Maybe this is going to go ahead and try to take out this past high, right? When I say structure, I'm talking about things like, buying pressure that's not short squeezes. I'm talking about things like almost 3 months of consolidation. I'm talking about things like popping out of these bear market boxes. You're over 50 RSI, it's considered a sign of strength, right? So also, if you look at the volume, very, very low selling volume back here. And the buying volume, while it's not as large as some of the buying volume back here, it is increased buying volume, which again is a sign that says I want to pump my brakes. We're above the 19-week moving average, which is bullish in nature. We are above the 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, bullish in nature. So those are things I want to keep an eye on. The CME chart, it's a little bit sketchy. It actually came up and basically filled in this gap from back here in May. So I'm watching that. There's still a gap down here around 33K. So that's one that might want to get filled in. So that one's kind of up in the air. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this is kind of a neutral spot to be, right? I don't want to be trying to guess which way the market is going to go. Instead, I want to remain semi-neutral and be careful. And for me, the name of the game has really been trying to stick to smaller time frames, and that's been one of kind of my bread and butter, if you will, for the last few years now, is not getting overly enthusiastic about larger time frame trades. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. One thing that I would point out is when you look at this, let's just look at a weekly chart. I'm going to try to take everything off. All right. This here, obviously in 2021, we had this, which was kind of a weird topping. It was like a rounding top versus like a straight up blow off top. There is a possibility in my mind that this could be similar to what happened in like the third quarter of 2017. And if you weren't around crypto back then, let me just kind of zoom out and go back in time. So that was this area here, right? There wasn't the same consolidation. It wasn't the same rounded top, but I'm just kind of wondering. I remember when this happened, right? This was a really big drop. It was like a 50% drop, came right back down close to the golden pocket, or almost exactly on the golden pocket. I'll just look real fast. Yeah, so it was a perfect touch of the 61.8, perfect touch of this old high back here. And it was really scary for newer people, right? I was still pretty new at the time, so I remember being very scared. I remember actually selling some of my Bitcoin like a big doofus, right? So it could be that we're just seeing a bad sell-off. I think the total market cap back there actually did fall about 50%. We can look. Let's see. So September, I remember alts getting just brutalized. Yeah, it fell about 46%. And this drop so far in 2021 was about 56%. So this is a little bit steeper, but it is possible that we're seeing something like that, and we're still going to have one more push up to kind of, smoke everybody. So again, I don't think that's what's happening, and I don't want to come off and be like, oh, well, I'm flipping bullish. I'm not bullish, but I am neutral, guys. I am neutral. There's enough stuff in this chart for the bulls to stand on that I think it's a pretty 50-50. I think it's almost a coin flip right now. Okay, I really do. And I think it just goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video. It's really important not to get sucked into the bear market, bull market talk and let it influence your trading in a bad way, right? Because there were plenty of long opportunities, not only on Bitcoin, but most altcoins actually overreacted to the sell-off. So back in April and May, a lot of altcoins fell 70-80%. So of course, now we're seeing stronger moves on those altcoins as they start to recover. So for example, if you look at Ethereum, watch this. Draw some fibs on there. Let's go all the way back to March of 2020. Oh, you see it? This was screaming for longs. 61.8, 61.8, 61.8. You had 3 buying opportunities down at $1,737 on Ethereum. Okay? So there's enough going on here. And by the way, if you did buy down there, it bounced about 94%. There's enough going on here that makes me pump my brakes, right? So I wanted to sit down and do a video because you always have the bullish people. They're always bullish every time Bitcoin moves up, even when it is a dead cat bounce. But this right here is presenting itself in a way that it may not be a dead cat bounce, right? Now, I'm still sticking for now until proven otherwise. I'm still sticking to my chart thesis that this is complacency, right? And it goes back to the emotional side of things. It's very easy. Back in May, it was very easy for me to say, well, I think this will go up to around 50K and then it'll be a complacency bounce and then it will dump. But now that it's happening, this is where you've got to be like really on your game, because emotionally it's a lot harder to be bearish after something has just moved up 50 or 60%. Then it's like, oh gosh, am I wrong here? Because the emotional side starts kicking in, because now it's decision time. Now you've got to actually make that decision whether or not you want to put money on the line to short this or long it or whatever you want to do. Whereas back there, it was easy to say it because it's like, well, this is what I think is going to happen. But there is no risk if I was wrong. There's no risk in, hey, I'm thinking about shorting if it gets back up there. So it's really a weird deal how the brain works, but keep that in mind. But yeah, even in a bear market, if you see long opportunities, I personally see any reason why somebody would want to play both sides of the market. Okay, so one last thing I'll point out, and then I'll wrap this video up. If you are looking at the larger time frames on Bitcoin, because I know a lot of people like to say zoom out a lot, this is what the monthly looks like. And again, this would be what a complacency bounce looks like. We'll be coming right up into that old tail or old supply. However, also keep this in mind, this is a weekly chart, it's a non-log chart. This is that downward sloping parallel channel, and it does look like Bitcoin has broke out of it, and it does look like it's coming down for a bullish, or at least trying to come down for a bullish retest of that. So if you are super duper bearish, you know, that's certainly something, you know, that's your call, obviously. Watch this. Boom, look at that. But just be mindful that the bulls have quite a bit in their favor right now, right? The bears still have a lot in their favor too, but I think right now, for me at least, I've got to say I'm neutral, okay? So I'll go ahead and wrap the video up here. I have no idea how long it is because my timer has disappeared, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, I will remind you again, I am just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom, which means that nothing in the video is financial advice. You should always go out and do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice from a licensed financial advisor before making any type of investment in cryptocurrency. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and as always, please remember to trade safe.